Olivia Mason looked up at the stars from the window of the spaceship Celestial Explorer. She was the head scientist who studied alien life forms. For 3 years, she had been looking at tiny plants and small creatures from faraway moons. Today was different. "Lieutenant Mason, report to the command deck now," said a voice over the speaker. Olivia's heart beat faster as she ran through the metal hallways. When she got to the command deck, everyone was looking at the big screen. "What's happening?" she asked. Captain Laura Flynn pointed to the screen. Look, there it was. A strange ship unlike anything humans had ever built. It glowed with colors Olivia had never seen before. It had no straight lines, only curves that seemed to flow like water. And it was huge, at least 3 times. Bigger than their own ship. "It just appeared, there an hour ago," said Captain Flynn. Then this message started playing on all our communication channels. She pressed a button, and a soft voice filled the room. "We come seeking alliance." "Have we answered?" asked Olivia. "Yes, they've asked for a meeting, and they want you to be part of it." "Me? Why me?" They asked for our xenobiologist by name. "They know who you are, Olivia." 2 hours later, Olivia stood in the docking area with 5 other crew members. Her hands were shaking, but she tried to look calm. The wall in front of them began to change shape, forming a doorway where there had been none before. 3 figures stepped through. Olivia gasped. The aliens looked almost human, but their skin shimmered like jewels. They had no hair, and their eyes were deep and dark like looking into space itself. They wore no obvious clothes, but their bodies were covered in what looked like living metal that moved with them. The one in front stepped closer. She was tall and moved with grace, but Olivia could tell she was a warrior. "I am Commander Lyra," she said. Her mouth didn't move exactly with the words. Instead, Olivia heard the voice inside her head while the alien's lips made different shapes. "Lieutenant Olivia Mason," she replied, stepping forward. "Welcome to our ship." Lyra's eyes seemed to look right through her. "You are the one who studies life. Good. We have much to discuss." The aliens were taken to a meeting room. Captain Flynn asked many questions, but the aliens seemed most interested in talking to Olivia. "Your species is young," said Lyra, "but you learn quickly. That is why we chose you." "Chose us for what?" asked Olivia. Lyra touched a spot on her arm and a 3D image appeared in the middle of the room. It showed a dark cloud moving through space, destroying everything in its path. "The Void Horde," said Lyra. "They consume worlds. They leave nothing but empty space behind. They have destroyed 12 of our colony planets, and now they are coming here." The image changed to show Earth, to your home. The room went quiet. Captain Flynn was the first to speak. "How long do we have?" "6 of your Earth months," replied Lyra. "We have fought them for centuries. We are few now. We need allies. What could we possibly do to help you?" asked Olivia. "Your technology is far beyond ours." Lyra turned to her. "Your minds work differently than ours. You think alone, separately. It gives you ideas we cannot have. We need those ideas now." The meeting went on for hours. The aliens explained that they needed humans to help design new weapons. The Void Horde adapted quickly to any attack, but human brains might create something the enemy hadn't seen before. As everyone filed out of the room, Lyra stopped Olivia with a touch on her arm. The contact sent a strange tingling sensation up to her shoulder. "You will work with me," said Lyra. It wasn't a question. "I'm not a weapons designer," said Olivia. "I study life forms." "And our enemy destroys all life," replied Lyra. "Who better to help stop them?" Something about the way Lyra looked at her made Olivia feel both nervous and excited. There was a connection there, something she couldn't explain. "Okay," she said. "Where do we start?" "You will come to our ship tomorrow. Bring your personal items. It will be some time before you return here." "Wait, I'm going to live on your ship." Olivia hadn't expected that. "Is that a problem?" "No, I need to prepare." Lyra nodded. 24 hours. "Then we begin." That night, Olivia couldn't sleep. She packed her clothes, her research, and a few personal items, a photo of her family, a small plant from her home, and a book of poetry. She wondered if aliens read poetry, or if they had any art at all. The next morning, Olivia stood in the docking bay again, this time with 2 bags at her feet. Captain Flynn was there to see her off. "Remember, you're representing all of humanity now," said Flynn. "Learn everything you can about them." "I will." Lyra appeared at the doorway, her skin glowing slightly in the dim light. "Are you prepared?" she asked. Olivia picked up her bags. As ready as I'll ever be. Walking onto the alien ship was like entering a dream. The walls seemed to breathe. The floors lit up under her feet and then faded again after she passed. Everything was alive in some way. Lyra led her to a room. These will be your quarters. They have been adjusted for human needs. The room was simple but beautiful. One wall was completely transparent, showing the stars outside. Thank you, said Olivia. It's lovely. Rest now, said Lyra. Tomorrow I will show you why we need your help. As Lyra turned to leave, Olivia called out, Commander, can I ask you something? Lyra paused. Yes, why me? Out of all the humans you could have chosen. Lyra's skin changed color slightly, showing patterns that Olivia couldn't understand. Your mind resonates with mine. I don't know your word for it. We can work together in ways others cannot. After Lyra left, Olivia sat on the edge of the bed looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there was a terrible enemy, coming to destroy her world. And for some reason, this beautiful, strange alien thought Olivia could help stop them. She touched the spot on her arm where Lyra had touched her. The tingling feeling was still there, faint but present. Something important had begun. She could feel it. Life on the alien ship was strange for Olivia. The Luminari, as they called themselves, did not do many things that humans did. They did not sleep in beds. Instead, they stood in special chambers where they connected with the ship itself. They did not eat food like humans. Their bodies took in energy directly from the ship's power system. Olivia had been on the ship for 2 weeks. Every day she worked with Lyra in a large lab. They were trying to make a system that would let human brains connect with Luminari weapons. Olivia's job was to understand how human minds could work with alien technology. Your species is very different from mine, said Lyra one day as they worked. You feel emotions so strongly. Don't your people have emotions? Asked Olivia. Lyra's skin changed color slightly, showing blue patterns. We experience states of being, but not like you do. You humans can feel many things at once, joy and sadness together, fear and excitement. It's very inefficient, Olivia smiled. Maybe, but I wouldn't want to live any other way. Lyra watched her with those deep, star-filled eyes. What are you feeling right now? The question caught Olivia off guard. I'm feeling curious, excited to be here. A little scared too. All at the same time? Yes. Fascinating, said Lyra. She went back to her work, but Olivia noticed that she kept glancing over. That night, Olivia was reading in her room when an alarm sounded. Red lights flashed along the walls. All personnel to defense stations, said a voice in her mind. Enemy contact, Olivia jumped up. What should she do? She wasn't part of the ship's crew. Before she could decide, her door opened. Lyra stood there, now wearing what looked like armor made of the same living metal as the ship. Come with me, she said. You need to see this. Lyra led her quickly through the ship to the command center. It was a large round room with no chairs. The luminary stood in pools of light connected directly to the ship's systems. Look, said Lyra, pointing to a large viewing screen. A small black ship had appeared. It had no clear shape. It seemed to bend the light around it, making it hard to look at directly. A Void Horde scout, said Lyra. They've found us sooner than we expected. What do we do? Asked Olivia. We fight. Lyra stepped into one of the pools of light. Her skin began to glow brightly and her eyes closed. The ship around them hummed with power. Suddenly, beams of energy shot out from the Luminari ship toward the enemy. The black ship dodged most of them, moving in ways that seemed impossible. Then it fired back. Its weapon wasn't energy or bullets. It was darkness itself, a beam of nothing that ate away at whatever it touched. The Luminari ship shook. Olivia grabbed onto a wall to steady herself. Hull breach in Section 7, someone called out. Lyra's eyes snapped open. That's near the human quarters. Without another word, she ran from the command center. Olivia followed her. They raced through the corridors until they reached a section where a hole had been torn in the ship's side. The emergency force field was failing, and air was being sucked out into space. Several crew members were trying to seal the breach, but they couldn't get close enough because of the pull of the vacuum. Lyra didn't hesitate. She ran straight toward the hole. Lyra, no, shouted Olivia, but Lyra kept going. When she reached the breach, her body began to glow with intense light. She placed her hands on either side of the hole, and energy flowed from her into the ship. The metal of the hull began to grow, closing the gap. Lyra's light got dimmer and dimmer as she poured her energy into the repair. Finally, the hole was sealed. Lyra collapsed to the floor. Olivia ran to her side. Lyra's skin, normally bright with color, was dull and gray. Her breathing was shallow. "Get her to the medical bay," Olivia shouted to the other crew members. In the medical bay, Luminari healers worked on Lyra. They connected her to machines that pumped energy into her body. Olivia stayed by her side, watching anxiously. "Will she be okay?" she asked one of the healers. "Commander Lyra used too much of her life force to seal the breach," the healer replied. "She needs time to recover." Why did she do that? Surely there was another way to fix the ship. There was no time. The section would have decompressed completely in moments. All humans in that area would have died. Olivia sat by Lyra's bed for hours. The battle had ended. The enemy scout ship had been destroyed, but it had sent a message back to its fleet before it died. More would come. Finally, Lyra's eyes opened. She looked confused to see Olivia there. "You stayed," she said weakly. "Of course I did. You nearly killed yourself saving my people." Lyra's hand moved slowly, reaching toward Olivia's face. Her fingertips, still faintly glowing, touched Olivia's cheek. "You were concerned for me," she said, wonder in her voice. "I felt it even while I was unconscious, and of course I was concerned. You're my friend." The word didn't seem quite right, but Olivia didn't know what else to call it. "Friend," repeated Lyra, as if testing the word. "We Luminari do not have friends. We are all connected, all part of the same whole. But we do not form attachments to individuals. Never. It is considered a weakness, a flaw in our unity." Olivia placed her hand over Lyra's, still resting on her cheek. "Sometimes the most beautiful things come from flaws." Lyra's skin began to show patterns again, colors that Olivia had never seen before. "You should rest," said Olivia. "The healer said you need time to recover." "Stay," said Lyra. "Tell me more about human friendship. I wish to understand." So Olivia stayed, telling stories about her life on Earth, about her friends and family, about what it meant to care for someone else. And all the while, Lyra watched her with those star-filled eyes, her skin showing new patterns with each story. Something was changing between them, something neither human nor luminary, but something new and unexplored. And with the Void Horde coming, Olivia wondered if they would have time to discover what it was. 1 month had passed since the attack. The Luminary fleet was moving quickly to intercept the Void Horde before they could reach Earth. Olivia and Lyra worked long hours in the lab, trying to finish the neural interface that would let humans control Luminary weapons. "We're running out of time," said Lyra. Her skin showed red patterns of worry. "The Council wants the interface ready for testing by the end of the week." Olivia rubbed her tired eyes. "We're close, but something's still missing. The human brain and Luminary technology just won't connect properly." That night, Olivia couldn't sleep. She went over the problem again and again in her mind. What were they missing? She got up and went to the lab. To her surprise, Lyra was already there. "You should be resting," said Lyra. "So should you," replied Olivia with a small smile. They worked side by side in comfortable silence. Olivia noticed that she could almost feel what Lyra was thinking sometimes. After so many weeks together, they had developed a rhythm. Then it hit her. "Lyra, I need to scan your brain patterns." "Why?" "I have a theory." Olivia set up the scanner and asked Lyra to stand still. She took readings of Lyra's brain activity, then compared them to her own brain scans from the day before. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the screen. "Our brain patterns are starting to synchronize. After working together so closely, my brain is beginning to match yours in some ways." Lyra studied the scans. This could be the key to the interface. If we could use this natural synchronization as a template. Exactly. They worked through the night, redesigning the interface based on their new discovery. By morning, they had a prototype. "Now we need to test it," said Olivia. "Yes," agreed Lyra. "But this test will be difficult." "What do you mean?" Lyra's skin showed patterns of concern. "To truly test if this works, we would need to share consciousness. Your mind would connect with mine completely. It's never been done between our species before. Is it dangerous? Yes, it could harm both of us mentally and physically. Our brains are not designed the same way." Olivia thought about it. "But if it works, we'd have the template for the interface." "It's too risky," said a voice from the doorway. Dr. Kate Porter, the human medical officer, stood there with a frown on her face. "I won't authorize this test." "We don't have time for safer options," said Lyra. "The Void Horde will reach the outer colonies in days." Kate argued strongly against the test, but in the end, the urgency of the situation won out. The Luminary Council and Human Command both gave permission, though reluctantly. The next day, Olivia found herself in a special chamber deep within the ship. Crystal technology surrounded her, humming with energy. Lyra lay on a platform next to hers. "Are you sure about this?" Lyra asked one last time. Olivia reached over and squeezed her hand. "I'm sure." Luminary technicians placed neural connectors on both their heads. Filaments of light began to flow between them, connecting their minds. At first, Olivia felt nothing. Then suddenly she wasn't just herself anymore. She was Lyra, born 300 years ago on a planet with 3 moons. She felt the connection to the collective consciousness of the Luminary. Thousands of minds linked together across space. She experienced the loneliness of being a commander, separate from the collective to maintain independence of thought. She saw the Void Horde destroying world after world, felt the grief of losing millions of her people. And Lyra was experiencing Olivia's life, the joy of a summer day on Earth, the tight hug of her mother, the thrill of discovery in her scientific work, the pain of a broken heart, the comfort of close friendship, the simple pleasure of tasting good food. The meld lasted for 3 days. When they finally separated, both were changed forever. Olivia woke up first. Her vision was different. She could see colors she had never seen before. She could feel the energy flowing through the ship, and somewhere in her mind she could still feel Lyra. When Lyra woke up an hour later, tears were streaming down her face. "What's wrong?" asked Olivia, alarmed. "Nothing is wrong," said Lyra, touching the wetness on her cheeks with wonder. "I'm crying. I've never cried before. My people don't have tears. Are you sad?" "No, I'm overwhelmed. Your emotions, your experiences, they're so rich, so complex. I never knew such feelings were possible." The meld had worked better than they could have hoped. Not only did they have the template for the neural interface, but they each carried part of the other's knowledge and abilities. Olivia now understood Luminary technology at a level impossible for a human before. And Lyra had gained something her species had evolved beyond, the ability to feel emotions as humans did. They finished the neural interface design within days. Soon, human pilots were training to use Luminary weapon systems. But as the fleet prepared for war, tension grew. A report came in that a Void Horde ship had somehow evaded their detection systems and attacked a Luminary outpost. They shouldn't have known where to find it. "They're adapting too quickly," said Captain Flynn during a strategy meeting. "It's like they know our plans." "Someone could be giving them information," suggested a Luminary officer. The accusation hung in the air. Trust between humans and Luminary began to fray. Security protocols tightened. Everyone was watched more closely. Through it all, Olivia and Lyra grew closer. Their shared consciousness had created a bond unlike anything either had experienced before. One night, they stood together looking out at the stars from Olivia's room. "My people would not understand what I feel for you," said Lyra, her skin glowing with beautiful patterns that Olivia now recognized as affection. "They would see it as a weakness, putting one person above the collective." "And many of my people would struggle to understand you," replied Olivia, tracing the patterns on Lyra's arm. "But I do. Is this what humans call love?" asked Lyra. The question caught Olivia by surprise. I think it might be, yes." Lyra's skin glowed brighter. "It's both wonderful and terrible. Wonderful to feel so connected to you. Terrible to know I could lose you in the coming battle." "We won't lose each other," said Olivia firmly. "We'll find a way through this." Neither noticed the shadow that moved away from Olivia's door, nor heard the quiet footsteps retreating down the corridor. Later that night, as Olivia slept, a secret message was sent from the ship to a point far away in space. A message that would put everyone in danger. The fleet was ready for battle. 20 Luminary ships and 5 human vessels moved into position near the edge of the solar system. They would make their stand here before the Void Horde could reach Earth. Olivia stood on the bridge of the Luminary command ship, watching the stars. Thanks to her mental link with Lyra, she could now understand the ship's systems. She saw the energy flows, the defensive shields, the weapon banks all preparing for war. "They're coming," said Lyra, joining her at the viewing window. "Our scouts have detected their advance fleet." "How many ships?" 30, with more behind them. Captain Flynn entered the bridge with several other human officers. Among them was Admiral Vincent Wright, Earth's highest-ranking military representative. He looked tired and grim. "Are the neural interface pilots ready?" he asked. "Yes," said Olivia. "The first group of human pilots are connected to their ships. They're performing better than we expected." "Good," said the Admiral. "We'll need every advantage." The first wave of the Void Horde appeared on their sensors. Black ships that bent light around them, making them look like holes in space itself. They moved in strange patterns, not like normal ships. "Battle positions," ordered Lyra. Her skin showed the golden patterns of a commander preparing for war. The Luminary officers connected directly to the ship. Humans went to their stations. The fleet spread out in a defensive formation. Then something went wrong. 3 Void Horde ships suddenly appeared behind their lines, attacking where they were most vulnerable. They shouldn't have been able to get past the sensors. "How did they know?" shouted Captain Flynn. Ships began exploding. Both Luminary and human vessels torn apart by the dark energy weapons of the Void Horde. In the chaos, Olivia noticed something odd. She could see the ship's communication systems, and there was a hidden channel sending data. Someone on the ship was transmitting their defensive positions to the enemy. She traced the signal to its source and felt her blood go cold. It was coming from Admiral Wright's private quarters. Olivia slipped away from the bridge and ran to the Admiral's room. Using her new knowledge of Luminary technology, she bypassed the lock and entered. The room was empty, but a small device sat on the desk blinking as it sent data. She picked it up and read the encoded transmissions. The Admiral had been sharing fleet information with the Void Horde for weeks. But why? The door slid open behind her. Admiral Wright stood there, a weapon in his hand. "I was hoping it wouldn't be you who found out," he said quietly. "You're working with them," said Olivia, her voice shaking with anger. "You're helping the people who want to destroy Earth." "No," said Wright. "I'm saving Earth. You don't understand what the Luminary aren't telling us. The Void Horde doesn't want to destroy all humans. They only want the Luminary. They offered Earth protection if we help them eliminate their ancient enemy. And you believe them? They've destroyed 12 Luminary worlds. They consume everything in their path." "Because the Luminary fought back," insisted Wright. "If we cooperate, we'll be spared. It's the only way to ensure humanity's survival." "You're wrong," said Olivia. "The Void Horde doesn't make deals. They only consume." Wright raised his weapon. "I can't let you tell the others. Too much is at stake." Before Olivia could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. The battle had reached them. The ship rocked from a direct hit. Wright grabbed Olivia's arm. "You're coming with me. I have a shuttle ready. We're going to meet with the Void Horde representatives." "I'm not going anywhere with you," said Olivia, struggling to break free. "You don't have a choice," said Wright, pressing his weapon against her side. "Your connection to the Luminary commander makes you valuable. The Void Horde wants to study it." He dragged her through the corridors toward the shuttle bay. The ship shook with each hit from enemy weapons. Crew members ran past, too busy fighting for survival to notice Olivia's situation. They reached the shuttle bay. Wright's private shuttle was there, ready to launch. "Get in," he ordered. Suddenly, the door to the shuttle bay slammed shut. Lyra stood there, her skin glowing with rage. "Let her go," she said, her voice echoing with power. Wright pulled Olivia closer, pressing the weapon harder against her. "Stay back!" "I'll shoot her." "You are the traitor," said Lyra, taking a step forward. "You have caused the deaths of hundreds of my people and yours." "I'm saving humanity," insisted Wright. The Luminary were doomed anyway. Better to ally with the winning side. "The Void Horde has no allies," said Lyra. "Only food." Wright's face twisted with anger. He suddenly changed aim and fired. Not at Lyra, but at the atmospheric control panel on the wall. The effect was immediate. Air began rushing out of the shuttle bay as the emergency force field failed. Wright was pulled toward the opening, but he grabbed onto a support beam. Olivia was torn from his grip and thrown across the room. She hit the wall hard, losing her breath. The vacuum pulled at her, dragging her toward space. She clawed desperately at the smooth floor, finding nothing to hold on to. Then Lyra was there, her body transformed, becoming a living shield. She wrapped herself around Olivia, her skin hardening into a protective cocoon of light. The force of the decompression pulled them both toward the breach, but Lyra anchored them with tendrils of energy that connected to the ship itself. Wright wasn't so lucky. His grip on the support beam failed, and he was sucked out into the void of space. The emergency systems finally activated. Metal panels slid into place, sealing the breach. Air began to pump back into the room. Lyra's protective cocoon faded. She collapsed to the floor, her skin dim and gray. The effort had drained her life energy to a dangerous level. Olivia cradled her fading form. "Lyra, stay with me, please." Lyra's voice was faint in Olivia's mind. "I now understand why humans fear death. Before you, I had nothing to lose." "Don't you dare leave me," Olivia demanded, tears streaming down her face. "You still haven't taught me how your quantum propulsion works," the weak joke earned a flicker of light from Lyra, the luminary equivalent of a smile. Medical teams arrived, both human doctors and luminary healers. They worked together to stabilize Lyra, but her condition was unlike anything they had seen before. She had separated part of her life essence to save Olivia, an act no luminary had ever survived. The battle continued around them. With the traitor gone, the fleet fought back more effectively, but the Void Horde still outnumbered them. Both sides took heavy losses. Lyra was placed in a stasis chamber. Her body floated in a pool of luminescent liquid, neither alive nor dead, but somewhere in between. Olivia refused to leave her side. She sat beside the chamber for hours, watching the faint pulses of light that showed Lyra was still fighting to live. "We need you," whispered Olivia, her hand pressed against the clear wall of the chamber. "I need you." That night, alone in her quarters, Olivia stared out at the unfamiliar stars. The fleet had retreated to regroup, but the Void Horde would find them again soon. Without Lyra's expertise with the neural interface, the human pilots couldn't use the luminary weapons to their full potential. The situation looked hopeless. "I wish I could marry her," Olivia whispered to the empty room. It was an impossible thought, not just because they were different species, but because Lyra might never wake up. A soft glow reflected in her viewport. Olivia turned to find what looked like a ghost of Lyra standing before her. "Then you can," the image said, its voice sounding strange and distant. "Lyra, how are you?" "This is a copy of my consciousness stored in the ship's systems before our mission," the glowing figure explained. "A precaution all commanders take." Olivia reached out, but her hand passed through the image. "Can you help save the real you?" "Perhaps," said the projection, "but it would require something no luminary has ever attempted, a complete fusion with a compatible consciousness." "Mine?" asked Olivia. "Yes, the meld we shared before was temporary. This would be permanent. We would become one being, neither fully human nor fully luminary. Would it save you? The real you?" The projection's light pulsed. "It might, but it would also change you forever. You would never be only human again." Olivia didn't hesitate. "I'll do it. Tell me how." As the projection explained the process, Olivia felt hope for the first time since Lyra had fallen. There was a chance, a dangerous, impossible chance, but it was better than losing her forever. The fleet had one day to prepare for the final battle. The Void Horde had gathered all their forces and were coming for them. It would be the last stand for both the luminary and humanity. In the medical bay, Olivia explained her plan to the doctors and the Luminary Council. "It's too dangerous," said Commander Sam Riley, who had taken charge of the human forces after Admiral Wright's betrayal. "We need your knowledge of the neural interface for the battle. Without Lyra, the interface will never work properly," argued Olivia. She understood it better than anyone. "This is our only chance." The Luminary Council was also against the idea. The oldest member, Elder Vex, shook his head. "This fusion would corrupt our species' purity. It has never been done." "Maybe it should have been," said Olivia boldly. "Look at what Lyra discovered by connecting with human emotions. Maybe evolution isn't just about becoming more advanced. Maybe it's also about becoming more complete." Some of the younger council members seemed moved by her words. They had seen how Lyra had changed, how she had found something they had lost centuries ago. In the end, with the enemy approaching and no better options, they agreed to let Olivia try. The procedure would take place in the crystal chamber where they had first melded minds. Lyra's physical body, still in stasis, was connected to an array of living technology. Olivia took her place in the adjacent pod. "If this works," said Dr. Kate, "you won't be just Olivia anymore." "I know," said Olivia, "but I'll still be me, and she'll still be her. We'll just be more." The neural filaments descended, connecting them as they had before, but this time there would be no separation. The ship's systems hummed with power as the process began. Olivia felt her consciousness expanding, reaching out to touch Lyra's fading mind. She found her in a place of darkness and cold, slipping away into nothingness. "Lyra," she called, "come back with me." The consciousness that was Lyra stirred. "Olivia, how are you here?" "I'm here to bring you home. There's not enough of me left. My life force is nearly gone." "Then take some of mine," offered Olivia. "We'll share." Their minds began to intertwine, memories flowing between them. Olivia experienced Lyra's centuries of life, felt the vast knowledge of the Luminary Collective. And Lyra experienced the depth of human emotion, the fierce joy of individual existence. The boundary between them blurred, then dissolved. They were no longer two separate beings, but something new, a consciousness that encompassed both human and luminary. Outside, in the physical world, Olivia's body began to change. Her skin took on a faint glow, shifting with patterns of light that reflected her thoughts. Her eyes deepened, showing hints of the stars that had always filled Lyra's gaze. The first explosions of battle rocked the ship as the fusion completed. The Void Horde had arrived. Olivia Lyra opened her eyes. She was both and neither, a new being with the memories and abilities of both. Her body remained mostly human in form but radiated with luminary energy. She walked onto the bridge as the Alliance ships fought against the overwhelming forces of the Void Horde. Crew members, both human and luminary, turned to stare at her in amazement. "The neural interface is incomplete," she said, her voice carrying harmonic undertones. "It needs a template that includes both our species." She approached the command interface and placed her hands on it. Instantly, she became a conduit for something new, a perfect synthesis of human intuition and luminary technology. Through her, the fleet's systems synchronized. Human pilots found themselves able to control luminary weapons with their thoughts. Luminary ships moved with the unpredictable creativity of human strategy. The tide of battle began to shift. The Void Horde, used to fighting against either humans or luminary, found themselves facing something they couldn't categorize, neither one species nor the other. But a third option they hadn't evolved to counter. The black ships tried to adapt, changing their attack patterns, shifting their energy frequencies. But each time they did, Olivia Lyra was one step ahead, adjusting the fleet's defenses before the enemy could strike. For the first time in centuries, the Void Horde began to retreat. Their collective consciousness transmitted confusion and fear as they encountered something beyond their experience. The battle was not without cost. Many ships were lost, countless lives sacrificed. But as the last of the Void Horde fled back into deep space, a cheer went up across the fleet. They had won, not just a battle, but perhaps the war itself. In the days that followed, Olivia Lyra faced questions from the leaders of both species. "What happens now?" asked the Luminary High Council. "You are neither one of us nor one of them." "I am both," she replied. "And we have proven that our species are stronger together than apart. The transformation couldn't be reversed, nor would she want it to be." In merging with Lyra, Olivia had found completion she never knew was possible. And Lyra had discovered the emotion her species had sacrificed for evolution: love. Some humans were afraid of her new form. Some luminari saw her as a corruption of their pure evolution, but many on both sides saw her as a bridge, a living example of what their two species could become together. As representatives from Earth and the luminary homeworld drafted a permanent alliance, Olivia Lyra stood at a viewport watching the stars. Within her dual consciousness, a conversation played out. "Did you know this would happen when you said I could marry you?" Olivia's thoughts asked. "Not exactly," Lyra's consciousness replied, "but I hoped." "In human terms, is this not the ultimate union?" Olivia laughed internally. "It's a bit more literal than most human marriages." Their combined form smiled, skin shimmering with patterns of joy. The war was not over completely. The Void Horde would return eventually. But they had time now and something new to protect. A future where humans and luminari could learn from each other, perhaps even love each other. As she looked out at the stars, she sensed something new at the edge of her awareness, other minds reaching out. There were more species in the galaxy, watching and waiting. Some would be friends, others enemies. But together, humanity and the luminari would be ready. She thought about the strange journey that had brought her here. From a simple scientist studying alien microbes to becoming something that had never existed before, life had a way of taking unexpected turns. A group of human and Luminari officers approached her. "The new neural interface designs are ready for testing," said one of the humans. "We've used your unique pattern as the template." "Good," she replied. "Begin training more pilots immediately." As they left, she turned back to the stars. She was still getting used to her new existence, being two people and yet one, having the memories of centuries alongside the emotions of a human lifetime. It was strange and wonderful and sometimes overwhelming, but she wouldn't change it for anything. She had wished to marry Lyra, and in a way beyond anything she could have imagined she had. In the depths of space, a single void horde ship watched from a distance. Inside it, the collective consciousness had recorded everything. They would adapt. They would return. But they would never be the same either. They had encountered something new and it had changed them too. The battle between light and darkness would continue. But for now there was peace. And in that peace something beautiful and unexpected had been born. A love that transcended species. A union that bridged the gap between stars. Olivia Lyra smiled, her skin glowing with patterns of hope as she prepared to help build a future neither of her parts could have imagined alone. "I wish I could marry her," she had whispered. "Then you can," had been the reply. And they had in the most profound way possible.